past like 9 or 10 years, I've been fooling around with this idea of, or trying to promote this idea of plant sentience. My friends make fun of me. They tell me that like it's sort of like total San Francisco art project because it's like it involves technology and it involves these like a little bit fringe countercultural ideas. It all started based on a Stevie Wonder album called A Secret Life of Plants, which is based on a book called A Secret Life of Plants, in which Peter Tompkins and Christopher Bird fill this book with 200 pages of weird experiments that were done with plants. Some of the experiments were done by non-scientists, so it's kind of funny and goofy and pseudoscientific. And then other stuff that was like totally scientific, like Dr. Chandras Bose from Calcutta, India. He invented these little machines that would detect the minute movement in plants. He was invited to present his research at the Royal Society in London. He showed all his research and he said, you know what, my conclusion is that plants exhibit a certain level of sentience. He was booed off the stage. They were really insulted that he would suggest that any other thing besides a human being would have something called sentience. He didn't say they're conscious like human beings are, but he said they're sentient. They're moving towards the light, they're making decisions. They're just operating at a different time scale. It's just going so slowly that, you know, we're so busy running around that we don't notice it. One of my interests is in consciousness as a spectrum, not consciousness just focused on human. Do we have the capability as human beings to like think of the idea of consciousness as something that's not restricted to human beings? The idea of the singing plants and singing trees was to reroute the bioelectrical activity inside of the plants and the trees and turn it into sound. Everything that's alive is a weak electrical signal. And what I started doing was, this was like in 1999 at the Pond Gallery here in San Francisco, a small gallery. We set up electrodes on the leaf of a plant and picked up the deltas in the electrical resistance on the surface leaf of the plant and then transduced the signal into a sound and also into real-time graphics. And since then, for the past 8-9 years, it's evolved. Over the years, I've reduced the complexity. Sensor technology is very simple. It's electrodes, and for a tree, I use Teflon-coated pin electrodes. The most bioelectric activity happens on the edge of the tree. So just going through the bark, you're getting like a wild signal. What I do is I take the raw signal of the tree and I run it to an oscillator and I use the raw signal as the pitch modulation. So like I basically have the tree controlling the pitch, and the pitch isn't necessarily something that we're used to. It's like a test tone, you know, that's being controlled by the plant, and so it sounds kind of whiny. You know, some people hate it, some people like it. Last it was shown was in Sweden at Vanas, which is a really well-established sculpture garden. I collaborated with Peter Coffin, and it was great. You know, there were a lot of curators and art folk that were really excited about it, but I thought to me the sign of success was that there were kids like trying to hug the tree to see if it would sound any different.